Hi, I'm Deborah, and welcome to your moment of decompression. Today's focus is on Matsya Mudra or fluidity mudra. Matsya Mudra assists with refreshment, emotional ease, and nourishment. Matsya Mudra, spending time in this mudra, which is the hand gesture, the benefits from this one releases muscular contraction, supports the joints and eases inflammation, and cultivates emotional fluidity and calmness. The mudra itself, the gesture, is taking your right hand and placing it on top of your left with your fingers stacked on top of each other and having your thumbs looking off to the sides. And when you come into that seated position, you'll draw your hands in closer toward your abdominal so that your hands are hovering above the first and centering around or a little below the second chakra. So bring yourself into a comfortable seated position, either on your chair, on a couch, or on your mat. And if you like to, when you're seated on the floor, if you like to have a blanket rolled up underneath your knees, or to have your legs comfortably crossed, listen to how your body feels most comfortable for the next few moments. And sense your sits bones rooting down into the earth. And there's a sense of ease, of energy rising up and down the body. As we spend time in our mudra and sharing our mantra together, if you like to close your eyes and allow that softness to have that ripple down effect through the body. You can feel yourself beginning to let go of holding on to your focus, holding on to the muscles to stay alert. This is your time to be able to go inside yourself and through the breath begin to ease, find your ease in being here on your mat, which will take you to many different places today, hopefully in a better place. So go ahead and take your right hand, place it on top of your left, and thumbs out to the side, and relax the elbows down. If you prefer not to close your eyes, you can just let your eyes simply look down toward the nose with a really soft gaze. Our mantra, which supports Matsya Mudra, gentle waves of ease flow through my mind and body. I'm going to go through that 7 times. Feel free to loop that in your mind or when you feel ready to say it out loud. Gentle waves of ease flow through my mind and body. Gentle waves of ease flow through my mind and body. Gentle waves of ease flow through my mind and body. Gentle waves of ease flow through my mind and body. Gentle waves of ease flow through my mind and body. 2 more. Gentle waves of ease flow through my mind and body. Gentle waves of ease flow through my mind and body. And release your hands, either palms up to the sky or down to the earth. And pausing here for a couple of more breaths. And really begin to sense the movement of your body with that breath. So even though we are in stillness, our body is still moving with the breath. We have a relationship with our breath, and that is one to move with it, to be a part of the breath, as opposed to holding ourselves in any static place. It's that illusion of stillness, but it's a quiet and an ease that gives that appearance of being still. And then notice also your relationship to the earth. Your earth it's a feedback system. It's naturally and always there supporting you. But what is your relationship to the earth right now? Do you feel as if you're collapsing into the earth, propping yourself up, or again, going back to that place of ease, sensing your breath, sensing your body as one, sitting here with the earth? And let us come down onto our backs with our knees bent and our feet standing, and taking with you that sense of, I have a relationship to the earth. I have a relationship with my breath. So even as we begin to move in a small range, that breath is supporting and moving with your movement, and vice versa. Your movement is supported by the breath and moving with the breath. And you have the floor to sense, are you holding on tightly? Are you able to release and feel that as muscles let go of too much effort, that your bones begin to settle within your body with more ease, and you feel yourself spreading out into the earth just a little bit more. Let us begin by drawing our legs toward our belly. And taking your hands to the back of your neck, begin to float the hands up toward the center of the back of your skull, and then feel the shoulders and shoulder blades peel a little bit away from your mat. No strain on the neck. You're supporting the back of your skull. Release. Slide your hands up the back of your skull a little bit more to draw the back of your head toward the earth. And then hands to your knees. Rock the knees just a little bit. Think more about coming in toward the body. There's a rock away, but right now just focusing on that little release in. And then a gentle guiding of the legs away so the arms extend, and you feel that your legs are just dangling from your hands. There's an openness in the hip sockets for the thigh bones to rise up out of, so they have a sense of dangling as well. And then your lower legs and your feet, easy dangle toward the earth. Release one leg so the foot comes to the earth, and release the second leg. And draw your hands to your belly, easy relaxing fingers here. And a few breaths. And each time you draw an inhale, I will offer a new focus for the direction of the breath. The first one, thinking about on your inhale that your breath is bulging towards your hands as well as down toward your mat. And as you exhale, you soften, release. And everything has this sense of like a balloon losing its air or a ball losing its air, how it just softens in on itself. And again, same direction, a bulging forward and back of your breath. And maybe you notice that further up and a little lower down your body. The next time you breathe in, one hand on your sternum, chest area, one hand towards your belly. Feel the length of your breath up and down your body. Relax your elbows. And again, as you exhale, the body softens. Inhale, find that length again. And the release. On your next breath, you can place your hands around by your waist, and now see if you can sense your breath expanding side to side, and whatever handhold feels best for you, especially for your shoulders. And one more time. And release your hands and arms down to the earth, and we're going to merge those three breaths. So a little bit more focus to see on your next couple of inhales. Can you sense the lengthening up and down your body, the bulging forward and back, and the expansion side to side? And as you exhale, your body softens into the open space that was created by your inhale. And with your inhale, can you feel your body moving along your mat? You feel the earth underneath you. You feel your body moving on your inhale and exhale. And on your next inhale, draw one leg up toward your body. You have one hand on your shin and one hand on your thigh just below the knee. And your leg that you're holding is passive. Notice your other foot into the floor. Can you feel all 5 toes equally distributing or receiving the weight of your foot? Energy over the arch and down through your heel, so that your leg doesn't have the opportunity to fold out or roll in. You want to have a gentle but steady support on your standing leg. And the gesture leg here is passive. Your hands are going to guide your leg a little bit away. There's a little bit of a push, and then your opposite hand pulls in. So you have that sense of push and pull, a little bit of a rocking motion. Now allow the arms and the upper body to support this move. Perhaps close your eyes and give yourself a little smile so that you can relax around the lips and the jaw. You're not gripping or holding there. Some people, for us, it's our favorite spot to hold. So we want to have a gentle parting of the lips, or every now and then check in with a smile. And check in with your standing leg to make sure you're not overly pressing or gripping your thigh muscles. Natural, easy support. And the rocking now is of the leg within the hip socket. So your pelvis is neutral. You're not tilting it one way or the other. We're actually going to get to that in a little bit, but right now, massaging into the hip socket, which encourages some ease around the back of the pelvis and the low back. Trying to let go of too much muscular effort. And our leg, again, moving independent of our pelvis, which is really important to be able to, at times, be able to differentiate the leg from the hip. And then sometimes we'll do other things. But right now, leg and passive. Hug that leg in a little bit more and take the hands of the same leg so that it's behind your thigh. Opposite hand is going to come around to the arch of your foot. You're going to keep your thumb connected to your hand. You got the little wave there, coming around the arch of the foot. If it's easier to hold at your ankle or somewhere on your shin, please make that your option. You want to be in a place of comfort here. And keeping your thigh where you have it so your arm that's supporting it is not going to allow the thigh to move further away from the body. And on an exhale, allow your opposite hand to guide your leg open about 50, maybe 60%, but we're not going to that place of, oh, I want to go to a stretch. We're going to teach ourselves something new here. And think of it more as a yawn at the back of the leg. Nice and slow. So you're painting smooth lines on an invisible wall. And your head and eyes can follow. So you'll feel that movement now. At the back of your skull's rocking probably just a little bit from side to side. And we're going slow because there's no reason to rush. And our brain and our body, that connection for new pathways, new ways of ease, we learn it much more efficiently if we slow down. And we retain it a little bit longer if we slow down. We're not bypassing anything. It gives you a chance to be aware and mindful of the movement in your body. Where do you sense it? Where do you sense it along little tricklets? Is that a word? Little trickles of movements that reverberate through the body through this yawn. The rolling of your head, the movement of your arm, your shoulder blade. And how is your breath moving with you? Do you find it easier to inhale or exhale when you have this partial opening, and the opposite of whatever that is when you close? Try it one more time with ease. And then come back to your earlier handhold for the push and the pull. And just notice how that feels now in your hip socket. How's your breath? Where is your contact with the earth? Sense your contact with your body. How do you feel movement? How do you sense movement along your mats? And then easy release of this leg down to the floor. Slide the leg out. Release your other leg out. And for a minute, just resting, noticing again, where does my body contact with the earth? Of the leg that I was just holding, what does the front of my leg and my hip socket feel like? And how does it possibly feel different than the other side? What is your contact like with the backs of the shoulders dripping toward the earth and down to the point where your shoulder, back of your shoulders or shoulder blades begin to connect with the earth? What does the back of your pelvis feel like, one side and the other side? How would you describe how each side of the back of your pelvis is resting into the earth? It may not be symmetrical. All right. We just worked one side of our body. Well, we kind of worked two, didn't we? Opposite leg to arm. But in relation to that pelvis, just notice how one leg and that side of the pelvis feels in relationship to the other. And your sacrum, that triangular bone, resting in the middle. And then bend your knees and stand your feet. And go ahead and take the other leg. Maybe switch. Try not to have the same arm doing the pushing action and the pulling. So give yourself a little switch there. And it doesn't matter which one you choose to do that to start with. And begin with that rocking. How does this side feel to start with? Is this your easier side, your side that tends to feel tighter? And check in with your standing leg. Make sure it's gently in a place of comfort. If you feel your toes, the ball of your foot, energy over the arch and the heel in relationship to the earth. And your breath. You have a fluid motion of breath. Does it feel staggered? Can you slow your breath down? Is your breath moving the same pace as your leg, or are they moving differently? Yet still a continuous flow of breath. That's what we're looking for, your continuous flow of breath. And then the next time you draw the leg in, leave that leg there, come back to the handhold of thumbs staying with fingers. Taking your arch, holding the back of your thigh. And as you either inhale or exhale, again, play with it. If you exhale last time as you open and inhaled as you drew the leg to a close, just try a few in reverse. See what it's like to maybe inhale as you open and exhale. What does it feel like, this connection of the opposite arm, upper body connected down to the opposite leg of the lower half of your body? With your pelvis as like a central hub, neutral into the earth. Well, it's not rocking. That's the main thing. We're just not rocking. Again, thinking about the independence of the leg. Almost seems as if we're just opening down from the lower half, the lower leg, yawning at the back of the knee, finding an opening around the back of the leg, and allowing our arm and hand to guide the leg. And again, if holding the arch of your foot is not comfortable, make sure you're holding at the ankle or I said shin earlier, sorry, in the back of your calf. It'd be a lot easier to hold the back of the leg than the front. Glad I caught that. But you probably figured that out before me, so kudos to you. All right, and then one more time as you come back down, go to that same handhold you had on this leg for the rock and roll of the leg. And one last time to check in to just really sense the leg, the head of the femur, so all the way down at the top of your thigh bone, the head of the femur, a little knobby thing, rocking inside your hip socket, because in a moment we're going to do something slightly different. And then go ahead and release that foot down to the earth, slide the legs out, and return once again to how am I resting at this moment? What feels different now? You take a quick scan of how each leg is resting into the earth. They probably still are resting slightly differently. We just by nature are asymmetrical. So listening to the subtle differences. They may not necessarily be huge, just subtle enough to go, oh, one part of my heel rests differently on one leg than the other. And if so, how that affects the rest of your legs. How your pelvis is settling into the earth, up through the torso, the shoulders, the back of your head, and down through the arms. So now bend your knees and stand your feet. And we're going to take a slow rock of the pelvis. So right now you're pretty neutral. The pelvis is not moving. There's a little bit of your natural arch at the low back. But I really want you to think about the back of the pelvis where that triangular part of your sacrum is. You're where your sits bones are and the tip of your tailbone in relationship to the crown of your head. And begin to tip the tailbone. I'm going to move my arms out of the way, down toward the earth, which does create a little bit more of an arch, but I'm not forcing it from my low back. It's my tailbone leading the way. And then as I come back, my low back gently merges into the floor. So we have that back and forth where your hands are underneath your waist. At some point you would roll into those hands. So as the tailbone tips down, then it tips back. As you tip down, you might notice how you roll along the back of your skull. Again, I'm not forcing the movement. I'm allowing that movement to reverberate up through my spine, out through the crown of my head, so that it gives the sense of a body yes nod. And then please draw your attention down to your feet. There is a sense of pushing into the floor and a drawing back without physically moving your feet. So that now the energy from the earth goes through my feet, up and down through my legs, through the hub of my pelvis, sending information up my spine and out through the crown of my head. And this is called a head-tail rock. And if you begin to go a little bit faster, you have a quick reverberation of your yes nod. And once you find this fluidity, you'll find that it brings a lot more ease to your head, tail. Rock and roll now, rock and roll. And your thigh bones now are stable. And the opening of your hip sockets is rocking forward and over the head of the femur. Even though you do have that action, that subtle action of the feet pushing and pulling into the earth, which sends energy along the legs into the hip socket. And then slow it down until you come to your stillness. Once again, draw your first leg in and go back to that gentle push and pull. And see if things are beginning to feel a little bit easier around the hip socket and the pelvis. See if you can relax your head into the floor a little bit more. And then this time, draw your left leg in so that your right ankle is resting on top of the left. The leg that you were holding is resting on top of the opposite ankle. Draw the leg in and then start making really small circles, holding your leg wherever feels most comfortable. So now we have a couple things going on here. Thinking about stirring the head of the femur inside the hip socket. Like you're stirring a small cup of soup, because our hip sockets are all different, but they're not too huge. And reverse direction. And notice that that you're making circles at the back of your pelvis and across your shoulder blades. Your legs are both passive, both going along for the ride here. And taking your hands to the back of, at the base of your skull, exhale and feel yourself releasing from the earth. Head is supported by the hands, but you're not pulling your head. And then slide the hand up the back of your skull to release yourself down. Draw both knees in, lengthen the arms. And the foot you were just working with, release it down to the earth. Keep the opposite one in your hand, switch your hand hold. And again, going back to that rock and roll. And noticing the sensations, the hip socket, all the way down to the back of your pelvis. Give yourself a little smile, relax around the face, the eyes. And then draw your opposite leg up. And again, place the leg you're just holding, the ankle, over the other. And in one direction, begin your circles. And where does your attention get called to right away? Can the back of your head be gently rolling in similar circles to the back of the shoulder blades and to the earth in the back of your pelvis? Again, allowing for these circles to happen without forcing them. And reverse your circle. Keeping it pretty small so that you don't rock side to side. There's the natural circles which bring you around side to side, but you don't want to feel like you're falling to either side. And if any place feels tight, or you feel like, well, wow, I just kind of skipped over that whole area somewhere in the back of my pelvis, slow your circles down. And then draw the legs in. Hand to the back of your head. Exhale as you peel the body away from the earth. Slide your hand up to guide the back of your skull to the earth. Release hand to each knee. Lengthen the thigh bones away from your body so your arms are comfortably long. Release, release. And let us go back to that quick rock and roll. If it's easier to start out slow And then pick up your pace, pick up your pace. And check in to make sure you're not holding your breath. And coming to a stillness. Draw both knees in. Draw them a little bit more so as if you feel your pelvis is sliding up and away from the earth. And then release the legs back out to that dangling place. Let one go the other. And we're going to go back to the head towel rock one more time, or depending on your wrists, depending on your shoulders, please make this a yes or a no thank you option. We're going to tilt our hands back so that our fingers look toward the direction of our feet. And our hands in this position act as our feet did in giving us a head tail rock. Again, or you can use fist as well. But again, if this is not good for your shoulders, your length of arms doesn't accommodate it, or you have issues with your wrist, please keep your arms back down where you had them and continue that sense of energy up through the feet, down the legs, through the hub of the pelvis, up the torso, and through the arms and the crown of your head. Or if your hands are here on the floor, you can think about reversing that pattern of energy into the hands just a little bit more, through the torso, down through the hub of the pelvis, and through the legs and into the feet. So that this conversation from head to tail is now also going from hands to feet, feet to hands, tail to head. And then slow that down. Release your arms down. Lengthen through the legs. Allow your palms to rest up toward the sky. If you were using your hands, take a moment to give yourself little wrist circles. You can bend at the elbow and little wrist circles in both directions. And then release to the floor, palms to the sky, somewhere off from your sides. And as you rest here, see if the energy in your body is more fluid, if you can sense that there's more space in your body for your bones to settle into yourself with a little bit more ease. And then bending your knees, stand your feet, roll to one side. Pause there for a moment. Just let everything settle once again back down toward the earth. And bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position for yourself. And drawing your hands into your heart. Sense how the body feels at this moment. We're coming back to partnering with gravity. How does the connection with the earth feel at this moment? How is it different from when you first sat on your mat? Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste. And slowly bring yourself to standing. So you can enjoy the transition of re-engaging the feet into the earth. Noticing what that feels like for yourself. Have your feet back into the earth, spreading with ease. And take a little walk. Just notice how you are at this moment. And how can you continue to bring this sense of ease and fluidity into the rest of your day or the next when you need to call back yourself to move on to what is next. I wish you well. Take care.